There are strange things out there that seem to have no explanation. Sometimes they are conjured up by the darkest corners of our subconscious, but on occasion they dwell beyond the confines of our imagination. They may come from another realm, or out of the sky, or from beyond the grave. Once they set foot into our world, the line between dreams and reality becomes unclear. It's our job to investigate these reports and compile the Virginia Paranormal Case Files.
It all started when I had to put my dog down. I got him at 19, and he lived until I was 33 and got very ill. He was like my son. He was my boy. And when I took him, I had to put him down because he had failing kidneys, he had cancer, he had all kinds of just horrible things, and I wasn't going to prolong him through that and be selfish just to keep him around for my sake. But so when I put him down, I kind of had a breakdown and stayed with him for a bit and then walked out. Well, to kind of speed the story along, about 3 years later, I notice I'm in bed by myself taking a nap in the middle of the day, and I feel something on the bed kind of moving. And I chalked it up to, you're just you're probably wiggling around yourself, because I have bad nerves, as you can see my hands shake. So I figured maybe it's just me. Well, then about another year after that, I was in my house in Salem, and I felt the same thing. And it was funny because my girlfriend at the time, I came downstairs and I said, "I think there's a damn demon in my bed." And she laughed at me like, what are you, scared? What's your problem? And so, manhood challenged. I had to go back up there, and I didn't want to. And I went to sleep, or tried to. And I felt distinctive depressions walking on the bed, but not 2 legs, 4. And then I heard this ching, 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 ching sound. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I don't know what I did, but I did go to sleep. I said, you know what? I'm a man up. If I die, I die. Who cares? Let's just go to sleep. So I went to sleep. Well, it happened again the next night, and the next night. And I noticed the ching, ching, ching sound. I felt something jumping up onto the bed, the distinctive pattern of walking. And the walking was around my body like this. Just around my body, from my head, all around my feet, back up to my head. And I remembered when my dog was alive, he used to try to climb his butt up in my bed. And I used to throw him off because he would start scratching on the bed, and you would hear his collar jingling, and he would shake the whole damn bed, just like what was happening. So I started paying more attention. I noticed these are 4 paws. These are 4 paws. So I started to feel a little better. Maybe I know this entity in my bed. And then I started to notice that I could make out a dark shadow figure. Now, it would hide from me. Anytime I'd try to get a glance of it, hide. And it was the strangest thing. If I opened my eyes, there was nothing there, But with my eyes closed, filtering a lot of the light out, I could see this black shadow of a dog, same style dog as mine, walk by me and walk around me. And I realized that I had the best dog in the face of the earth because he died and stayed with me. It's that, who could say that? So I was happy about it. I didn't talk about it, obviously, because I sound crazy. And every one of you watching this, there's going to be a lot of you that go, that dude is nuts. But
Don't feel bad. They think we're crazy.
I promise you, I'm not nuts. My degree is in archaeology. Okay, what we do is find and seek the truth on things, and that's what I went to school for. I'm not a person that lives in flights of fancy, but the reality of it is it's there. Well, a few years later, I moved out, and me and my girlfriend broke up, and I noticed Barney came with me. I had a medical emergency, ended up in the hospital for several days, and literally felt this dog climbing up on that little small ass hospital bed with me. So he was there with me in the hospital too, and I realized he goes everywhere with me. When I traveled down to see my family, he would come with me. He'd be, I'd feel him at night in the bed. I didn't realize that it was 24/7 that he was with me. I thought it was just only at night in bed. Well, after one of the Florida trips, now we're 4 years into me having seeing an entity, my former dog, with me. So 4 years in, I notice my dog walking his normal pattern around my body. I mean, I got so used to it, that I wouldn't be able to sleep without this pattern anymore. It kind of, it's like listening to the fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel his distinctive walk, and I know how many legs you can feel, do. But I feel on the other side some walking too. And through, my eyes, filtered through, my eyes being shut, saw a different kind of shadow, a different kind of dog. Still a good sized dog. My dog was a black lab. By the way, best dogs ever. If you don't have one, get your kid one. They'll love you.
Agreed.
But it was, if I had to guess, I would say Rottweiler. But so now I had two dogs, and this went on for about a month. These two kind of being together. I'd see them licking each other and stuff like that through, again, filter with my eyes closed. It has something to do with the light and the way ghosts are able to refract light to keep us from being able to visually see them in our spectrum. But closing them filters out so much light that you get these shadows. But anyways, after a while, I noticed these little tiny feet walking around, and I saw 4 or 5 small puppies. I couldn't really give you the number. I say 4 or 5, could have been 8. Who knows? When you get to that amount of puppies walking around, it's all the same, especially if you can't really see them very well. So one night, about 2 weeks after seeing the puppies, and now the puppies are in the bed too, so I have a whole damn party to go to bed with. So, one night after, 2 weeks after this, I'm asleep, and I sleep with my hand under the pillow and curled over the top like this. And all of a sudden, I feel the weirdest sensation, this tingling sensation that you get. And if you've ever come in contact with an entity, you probably have felt this before. It's almost a tingling vibration feeling. But it was on my finger, and then I felt it kind of clamp down, and then on the end I felt like a tongue. You can actually feel the taste buds moving around, kind of like licking my finger, like My damn middle finger's a damn nipple. And I was like, ugh. Freaked me out at first, but then I was like, wait a minute, this is cool. I'm being touched by a ghost, because this was my first real physical contact. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll just leave it there and see. This is kind of neat. You know, I'm going to try this out. It's kind of neat. Well, then they just started sucking on my finger all the time. And it's constant. So and this started back in November of 2019. It's March. So for the last 4.5 months now, every waking minute, I have an entity sucking on the end of my finger. After the puppies, the first humanoid entity I saw, I call Shiny One. He was a shiny green color. Very faint, but shiny in a green light way. And his head reaches all the way to the ceiling. So he's probably 9 feet tall. Yeah, I know. Crazy, more crazy on top of the rest of that crazy. But he is. He's probably about 9 feet tall. And I noticed he would just stand in the background and watch me. And I saw him one time when I was laying down on my couch, kind of trying to go to sleep and take a nap. And I see 2 dogs kind of come into my view as my eyes are closed. And they're, barking away. I can't hear anything. I've never heard any noises other than the chinging of the collar from my dog. And I noticed they're barking at this entity. And I go, okay, it's not just me who sees it. Obviously the dogs are upset about whatever this is. So I put my hand up like this, just to see what would happen, And he came over and he stuck his hand out and touched my hand. And as soon as he touched my hand, again, that vibration, feeling of it just feels like you're touching something that's at a different frequency than you. It's hard to explain, but my body, because I have nerve conditions, always got a shake to it. So I vibrate to begin with. But feeling this was an entirely different vibration than the rest of my body. It's very unique, very strange. And, I put my hand down and he put his hand down and kind of walked back to the spot he was at. Well, after that, I was like, well, cool, now I got a family of dogs. My dog finally got to, have kids. He never had kids in his regular life. I thought that was crazy as hell, because how do ghosts have babies? I don't know. Again, more crazy, I know. But this is the reality of my life the last years. This is what I've had to deal with on my own. So after that, I noticed another guy that I called Jack. We won't go into Jack's name on camera. It's R-rated. I think, did I tell you about Jack?
Yeah, he's got a reason that he's got that. That's his nickname because of an action.
Yes. Okay, so we kind of covered that there.
Right.
And that disturbed me greatly, because here I am laying in my bed, and here's Jack doing his Jack thing. And yeah, I didn't really want him around anymore. I mean, before that, I really had no problems. I mean, the dogs are annoying as hell. Trust me. If you got a drop of water hit you on the arm, who cares, right? It doesn't hurt. But if you had a drop of water sit there and hit you in the arm in the same place for hours and hours and hours, eventually it'd be the most painful damn thing you ever had. Right. It's kind of the same way. This is an annoying thing to have, is this constant suckling on my finger. and literally I feel drained physically. A lot of the times I'm not moving around a whole lot because it feels like they're draining me. Some of the puppies have gotten decent size now over the last 4 months. They look like they're 4 or 5 months old. So now I had Jack, I have Shiny One, and 2 girls show up. One of them I was calling, let's see, who was first? I think Annabelle was first, and I call her Annabelle because she looks like she's dressed in an old Georgia Southern clothing, you know, like, ooh, I do declare, that kind of Georgia Southern Belle. That's why I call her Annabelle, or something of that nature. So I had Annabelle, and then the other one, was it Carly? And she wore sunglasses. So those were the first 2 girls that were there. With the 4, again, everything was a little weird. Jack being Jack, I still didn't really want Jack around. The girls were fine, but Jack kind of was being Jack with them. And anyway, I think a week or 2 went by, and then I noticed I couldn't see my dog anymore. I couldn't see my dog, and I couldn't see his girlfriend. Neither one of them around. I don't know where or when that disappeared, because with all the chaos of now 4 entities, multiple puppies and dogs, it's kind of hard to keep track of anything. But my dog was gone. So before, I didn't really talk about any of this because I was worried that if I said something, he would go away. Like, this was a gift to me, you know. The knowledge of knowing there's an afterlife was a gift to me, and having my companion back was a gift to me. And if I said something, well, that gift's going to be revoked. Well, I don't really have that feeling anymore because, honestly, without my dog, I don't want any of them anymore. You know, his puppies, I'm conflicted because I don't know what the hell he bred with, but you know, these dogs are relentless in their pursuit of sucking energy. Yes, I know how crazy all of this sounds. But again, it's my reality. I live in a supernatural world. I don't live in the regular world that everybody lives in. Unfortunately, I've been pushed into the supernatural world 6 years ago. So that's my life. Until it happens to you, it's going to be very difficult to believe. Matter of fact, it's going to be very difficult for you to believe anything I've said. Even if we get some good evidence, it's going to be hard. The next thing that will come to your mind will be, oh, well, they made it up. They faked it or something, you know? Because it's hard to wrap your mind around these realities. And a reality of ghosts and ghost dogs, first of all. Who knew all dogs went to heaven? That movie, I guess, was right, you know? All dogs do, or at least they go to an afterlife. You know, these things you just don't know, you know. You a lot of people, you go to church, you believe in God and Jesus, but if somebody's, you know, about to take your life out, you're losing it, crying, oh my God, this can't happen. Well, if you believe in an afterlife, really, you shouldn't be scared at all, you know. Oh, well, my life's done here. It's time to go to that next afterlife, right? So we all want to believe, but none of us really believe until you're actually faced with a situation like I am, where you're seeing them, you're being touched by them, you're feeling them, you heard the jingle. I would love to hear them talk. I'd love to know what the hell they're saying and why they're here. So I'm sorry, I kind of jumped off base. I will touch back with the animals. Well, they travel, the whole herd travels with me everywhere I go. They climb on my car, they climb in my car, and wherever I go, they come with me. They're not staying at the house. The house isn't haunted, I am. Well, I've collected a lot more spirits than just the 4 now. There's, I don't know, 10, 15, there may be more than that here at this point. All of them have fallen in love with one puppy or another. And they all have their own separate puppies now that they sit there, they care on, they love on, and they bring them over to feed on my damn hand. So I'm annoyed with all of them. Again, I sound crazy. I know how I sound. I hear it come out of my mouth and I'm like, this does sound super crazy, but yeah, it's real. It's real. And I have to deal with it every day.
So I have the tri-field meter and also the carbon monoxide alarm. Just kind of going around room by room. This won't do it for the whole house. You have to do it for each room to determine if there's a leak or anywhere in a certain room of the house. Because if it's in one room, then that's all it takes. It doesn't have to be the whole house. So I'm thinking maybe the bedroom, if there is a place. Whenever you have carbon monoxide poisoning, it's possible to see things that aren't there. It's possible to hallucinate, and so we want to rule out that possibility. So this is the bedroom where...
Yes.
Okay.
This is the bedroom where I'll feel puppies walking on the bed. Sometimes the humanoid ghost will just walk over the top. Sometimes they'll lay in the bed with me. It's it's strange. Sometimes man and woman will kind of climb in the bed, and that's when you usher them the hell out of your bed.
So for the readings upstairs, when you first walk up, underneath you is the water heater. So that's why we jump up to 3, 4, 5. As you're walking around the top of the house, it stays at about a 1. It's the highest it goes. So if you hear this considerably, that's when you would get a spike. But we're looking more so for anything 3 or above.
And give a sweet.
So if I move this quickly, it'll go off, get pretty high, so I'm going to go slow, okay?
Okay.
Just kind of see if they are around you, they would give off any sort of, theoretically, they would give off any sort of reading at all. Since they would be dogs, they'd be closer to the ground.
Right.
Right? It'd be somewhere around you, somewhere here in this room.
If that's gonna even pick them up.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see it picking up anything.
Which, I mean, if you showed that to a skeptic, it was jumping up to 5, they'd be like, oh, he has a cell phone in his pocket, or, you know, anything else. Okay. And then we'll just kind of keep this up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to start out in the bedroom here, where a lot of the activity occurs. And we have the REM pod down here on the floor. The first thing we're going to try to do is see if we can get something to interact with this REM pod. Of course, this will put out a field. And if that field is broken, I'll demonstrate if something comes close. It will light up to green at first, and then as it gets closer, the tone will increase, or the pitch will increase, and the rest of the lights will come on. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can encourage anything to come near that REM pod for us.
Please do.
Now this is a little bit different. There are human spirits here as well. So it's a little different
Situation.
trying to convince the spirit of a dog to come near
Right.
this device. But if there are any other people here, I'm Jeff.
I'm Linda.
I'm Will.
And you know me, I'm running.
You know Ryan. We have this device in the middle of the floor here. There's 2 devices. One has a green light, one has a red light. And we believe if you come near these devices, either one of them, it may light up just to let us know that you're here, and we could use that to communicate with you, perhaps to ask you some questions and find out why you're here and if there's anything we can do to help you or anything that you want. Could you come near one of these devices for us? that sound that we're hearing is the tri-field meter. So if we hear that increase, we know that that's going up as well.
Jack, can you go and get close to the meter? It's right there.
We know that Ryan has some nicknames for you. Perhaps if you try to tell us what your real name is, we could call you by that.
So these devices that we have one right here. We have another one on the bed. Those two, we can be able to hear anything that you have to say. So you can talk into it and answer any of our questions. For any yes or no answers, I would like for you to touch that red light for me. It'll make it turn green. So Jeff asked earlier what your name is. Could you please tell us your name in one of those voice recorders for us? And Ryan, if you like, if there's anyone else, any other people than Jack,
Yeah.
invite them all in here.
Shiny one. Can you please reach out, touch the device, please? Annabelle, if you're here, can you please touch the device? Carly, if you're here, can you please touch the device? If y'all have anything to say, can you please leave it on the recording?
When we tried to set the REM pod on the floor, we were trying to encourage the spirits to come towards it, whether it be the ghost puppies or the ones that look like humans. And so far we haven't been able to get anything. So thinking that perhaps these things are a little bit shy, we're thinking that maybe we'll get Ryan to lay in the bed. And that way maybe that will encourage the puppies to come and jump into the bed and kind of feel more comfortable in their normal routine.
What we're going to do is actually have Will get in the bed with Ryan. That way we can see if he can as well feel the dogs walking around on the bed. And reportedly, Jack likes to come over to the bed as well. So perhaps we'll be able to inspire him to come near the bed and interact with Will.
I hope he does.
Yeah, how do you feel about that, Will?
Well, look, I've had good luck today with dogs. We've had several corporeal dogs. We've had several corporeal dogs come to me today.
Right.
So I'm hoping that the spiritual dogs, the ghostly dogs, will also do that as well. So the goal of this is to lay in bed with Ryan, have the dogs come into the room. That would encourage the other spirits, whether that's Jack, whether that's Annabelle, Carly, any of them to come in as well. Ryan said that he had his ex-girlfriend lay in the bed when he was not there and had a dog jump in the bed with her, scared her so bad that she left. So I want to be able to experience that as well. And let's go do it.
Let's go to bed.
Let's get in bed, Ryan. This is the first time I'm getting in a bed with another man.
Me too.
Don't lie.
Here we go. Shh, don't tell everyone my secrets, Linda. Alright, here we go.
All right, so lights
Very
out.
Comfortable.
It is very comfortable bed.
It's comfortable bed than I have been in. This is nice. Okay. said it's better to keep your eyes closed and.
Yeah, if you keep your eyes closed, it'll filter out all but just a very little bit of light, and you should be able to see shadows.
Okay. Now, do you look around? Do you still look up at the ceiling?
I look just straight ahead, and usually
Okay.
they'll surround the entire bed.
Gotcha. Okay.
But they also will be right if you look to the left of you.
Mm-hmm.
You'll tend to be able to see something there as well if they're here. Right now I'm not seeing a whole lot. And this is abnormal.
My name is Will. I just want to meet you guys.
Well,
Want to be a friend.
Will, can you see this right here? Oh,
On your right?
shoot. It was right up top. It was walking, floating right over the top of the bed, and then just kind of went to the roof.
No, I missed that.
Okay, let's see if we get another one here.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
Whoa.
You got one floating right over the side of your shoulder, buddy.
Me?
My left?
Yep,
You talking about me?
yep.
And the
On
REM
your
pod
left.
just went off, and that's going off to my left.
You got a shiny one right there.
You know, it's funny, right as you said that, Ryan, I actually saw like a flash of light to the left of Jeff.
Yes.
I actually did.
Yeah.
Was it
With
while
my eyes closed.
the REM pod
It's
was going
only
off?
with your eyes closed.
Right before the REM pod went green, there was a flash of light to your left, and then the REM pod went green. It was sort of like the orb that we saw on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a flash of light like that, very brief, kind of. The peripherals of your closed eyes, you
Look.
could see it.
Take a look to your right. Do you see? You should see a shadowy figure with a little of that green hue towards the wall. Shoot, it's starting to press towards the window. Yeah, he's coming back towards us. Right over the top here. Right
I
on
saw
my
one kind
right-hand
of go
side.
like across the bed.
Yeah, they walk.
I felt the bed.
He's getting on the bed.
I felt the bed move.
Did you feel
Yes,
this?
on my right foot.
Yep.
So
You
your
feel
left
that? You feel
Yeah.
that one?
foot.
You feel it? He's stepping right next to you.
Yeah, dude.
That's me stepping.
Watch. There you go. There's another. You feel it? Here comes.
This is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. There was movement on the bed.
And y'all are both laying perfectly still.
Yeah.
Yep. That's actually it's not Carly. That was an Annabella. That was a female. She
On
was
the
cli-
bed, or
Yeah, she was climbing in the bed, and
welcome, Annabelle.
one of the males just stole her. And no, it
No,
wasn't
come back.
Annabelle. They get very territorial
Okay.
with the women climbing
Gotcha,
in the
gotcha.
bed with me. And they'll yank them out really quickly.
Well, I have a fiance, so y'all don't have nothing to worry about. I can't do nothing.
But they don't, the women don't care about that.
Okay. Well, as long as they don't mind, I mean.
They don't care. You should see how my showers are. It's a full house. Yeah, talk about having zero privacy.
Gotcha.
Just have a bunch of ghosts with you. Oh, here's another one in the bed. You feel it?
Not yet. My right foot has been tingly this whole time.
You feel right to your arm. Here's another one.
Huh.
You feeling that one?
Yeah, my foot is really tingly.
And just walked over the top of you. It's the weirdest feeling, that vibration when they come close to you in contact. After 5 years, it's just normal to me now, but I have to think about how it was 5 years ago, and it's a strange sensation.
I haven't really felt the bed go down again like it did before.
Yeah. We haven't. See, they can float or they can step like normal.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes with them, they'll float on into the bed to kind of ease in. And then others don't give a shit and they just step up and climb into the bed, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that one time there was definitely
footsteps.
Yeah, the bed went down a little bit. You didn't move, and
No,
I didn't move.
I was not moving.
I even checked to see if Jeff pressed on the bed to mess with me. And
Even if we were moving, it's not the same as what you felt. You felt foot depressions in the bed. You know, there's a big difference between somebody pushing down on the bed, and feeling somebody walking on a bed. You know, you can wiggle all you want. That doesn't feel the same as push, you know.
And that's exactly how it felt.
Exactly. And both of us were not moving. There's a little bit of light in here where, you know, they can see us. So, you know, you can see me waving my hand right now, right? Yeah. Exactly. So if you saw me pushing down on a bed, you'd be able to see that too.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting too is the REM pod hasn't gone off since you stopped saying they were on the bed as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It did go off all the same. As soon as I told you you had one on your left.
It went off immediately.
how are we able to bring them back into the room? It seems like they're gone now.
Well, right now they're here. They're just a lot of floating. Like, look at the ceiling. There should be, well, there is some shadowing, but his shadow should be in the far corner where he's standing. And we shouldn't be seeing shadows over towards the door area. But look up at the ceiling and see how much of that is darkened out for you. Are you seeing anything straight above you?
As you mentioned that, it got brighter.
Yes.
Like there was a light.
Yeah, and now it's starting to fade out a little bit. Yeah, you had one right over the top of you.
If you could guess which one of my hands would you say that I have a tingling sensation?
If I could guess.
Yeah, or if you could see.
Let's see.
Would it be my left or my right?
I'm going to say maybe you're right because I see a nice black shadow coming towards your hand.
Okay.
But it could be either or because we're kind of surrounded by a few of them.
Well, I would like to point out that my right hand is tingling. My left is, it's fine.
Yeah, you do have a puppy over there. He's right on climbing over the top of you right now. I don't know if you can feel any of that. They're small and sometimes hard to feel. But they are interested in you.
Good. Bring all the puppies.
I didn't know that the puppy spoke English. That was my main concern when you're asking them to suck on your finger.
Yeah. Hoping that
I
they...
can speak puppy. I can
Yeah.
go. Come here. Come here, puppies.
Yes.
Come on, puppies.
Well, and it's funny because I see one right above my head and they're being held. If you look to the right, well, wow, they just went right through that door. Are you still over by the door?
Yeah.
The archway?
Yes.
Yeah, they just came right through there.
So, when we were laying in the bed, I wasn't long into it that I felt what felt like a hand kind of pushed down on the bed to my right foot, which at first I opened my eyes to see if Jeff was pressing on the bed, which he wasn't. But I felt it. I felt the bed go down at the same time that he was like, yeah, did you feel that? So I did. I felt the bed go down underneath my foot. He didn't move. I didn't move. Jeff didn't push down on it. And then with my eyes closed, occasionally I could see like a light to the left of Jeff from where I was looking. There was a ball of light sort of like how we saw in the trees at the past investigation. And then as soon as that happened, the REM pod immediately went off. So I thought that was really, really interesting. Also, on top of that, every once in a while, I saw like what looked like, with your eyes closed, it was like a hand passed in between my face and the light of your camera. I could clearly see the light change. That happened on occasion. But other than that, I couldn't necessarily see the shiny one. I could not see a shiny one above the ceiling, or a black apparition next to the window. I could not see that. But with my eyes closed, I saw that light go by you. I saw a hand go in front of my face, and I felt the bed press down.
It was interesting that the REM pod's been sitting in that same position since we got upstairs here. And it hasn't gone off, for the exception of when they were talking about increased activity on the bed. They were talking about feeling something sit on the bed, a flash of light, and immediately this REM pod goes off. And it went off like twice, and then it hasn't gone off since then. So what is causing this REM pod to go off? There's something there that wasn't there before. But I have this idea of how we're going to kind of increase Will's psychic abilities, if you will. He's laying in the bed there and trying to open himself up a little more to seeing these spirits and to feeling them around. Perhaps we try the Gainesfield experiment, sensory deprivation. But with this, it's kind of twofold, because perhaps it'll increase Will's feelings, but at the same time, whatever spirits may be there, they may not feel quite as intimidated.
Right.
Because he can't see them, he can't hear them, he can only feel them. And we can let them know that in hopes that they perhaps will be more likely to interact with them. So we'll go downstairs, we'll get the blindfold, we'll get the rope, and we'll come back upstairs.
Ooh, the rope? That was like a rope for
That's why we went to Lowe's.
So I do want to mention, while I'll be blindfolded doing the Gansfeld experiment, I will say everything that I see, feel, with my eyes closed, everything, and I cannot hear anything that these guys are saying. I've worn the headphones. It's so loud, you can't hear nothing.
Okay.
So they'll be asking questions, and so what I'll be doing is, anytime I feel the slightest thing or think that I see something, I will point it out, and then maybe it might link up to Jeff could be like, hey, go over to here, or go over to here, and then sometimes you'll have it to where I'm like, this thing is walking over here, right after Jeff will say, move to the window or move to the REM pod. And so it eliminates all bias.
And thinking about what else will be interesting this time is like Will said, he'll be completely unbiased. He won't hear us. So this time, what I'm looking to see is perhaps, because I remember when he did this the last time, he would say the right side of me, I feel this tingle. So we need to see if that kind of correlates with where the spirit is. When you say, hey, it's to your right, he won't hear you this time. But if you say that and at the same time he's like, hey, my right hand is tingling, then we know that that's something there, most likely.
Mm-hmm. And I will ask, hey, my hand is up, suckle on one of my hands and I'll tell you which one I feel, that kind of thing.
Good. If they can suckle on you, I've had 4.5 months of it. You can have the rest of the time.
Got Will back in the bed here, and he's got some headphones on, he's got a blindfold on, and there is a sound of a fan playing through those headphones, so he cannot hear or see anything. You don't have to worry about him seeing you or hearing you, but he would like to feel you if you can come near him.
Jack's on my right.
Jack, can you touch Will on his right side?
Here you go. Climb on into the bed. She's hovering right over him.
I don't know if it's your camera light or what, but I can see like a bright light over this way, like towards the dresser.
Yeah, that's exactly where she is. You heard me say it right before he spoke.
Yeah. Can you come and touch Will?
There was another light over here on this side.
Yeah. That's a
It
girl.
was like a flash.
She's touching him. Down towards his feet.
Oh, we got the K2 meter going off.
I was getting ready to say, what is that?
Can you touch his foot?
She's gonna get drug off here in a second.
Right near where that light was just flashing. Can you touch Will right there?
She's right on top of him. You're right on top of him.
Remember, Will can't see you or hear you. You're going to have to touch him.
I felt like a tickling on my face.
Yeah, she's right on top of him. And that was a puppy. He's got 3 of them around his face now. They're climbing over the top of him.
I feel like what my blindfold isn't covering, it's like being messed with.
Yeah. He's got a guy right on top of him.
So very interesting, to say the least. If it started off, I felt like I could see a light. Said that I saw a light in front of me. It seemed like that there was a presence in front of me where the dresser was. Like I was telling Ryan, it felt like he was moving the whole time. It felt like he was talking, but he was talking with his hands, talking with his body. When I kept my hands closed like this, I couldn't hear any vibrations of when he would talk. If I removed it, I could feel that he was talking. But it felt like he was talking and shifting and pointing in directions, because that's how it felt like the bed was moving. And so because of that, I didn't say anything. I didn't say, it feels like he's moving. But the whole time it felt like from my knee up and then like around here, I felt tingling, pressure, like it felt a lot of pressure points. And yeah. And like I said, where the mask wasn't covering, so it was like here from my nose down, all around here, it felt like my hairs were being played with, like lips, all that stuff, nose, bottom of it, all being like touched.
You feel like something was being pushed on your face, maybe?
No, not pushed, not pressed evenly around my face.
Okay.
And then, like I said before, it could have been maybe like a dog's tail or something, but it was like something was moving in front of the mask over and over again.
Towards the beginning, when there was some movement that was going on or that they were describing on the bed, the K2 meter did light up.
And like,
Oh.
Went all the way up.
Okay.
Quite a few times this happened, and it was usually around the time here you had talked about there being some kind of movement on the bed, and that was laying down toward your feet. I tried to get whatever was there, and if there was something there that was manipulating this K2 meter, I tried to get it to touch your leg at that point, down near your ankle, but it didn't seem to do that, or you didn't seem to pick up that sensation, at least, if it did try to do that. So, interesting that meter was going off, though.
it was.
One of the reports is whenever Ryan goes and gets in the shower, he's joined by several of the spirits because they enjoy the shower. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we get Will in the shower, if that will kind of encourage them to get in the shower with Will, because they seem to have taken interest in him. So let's get him in the shower. We're going to set the REM pod in there and see if he's joined by any of the spirits.
So all spirits that are in this house, I am Will. I'm going to go get in the shower now. So if anyone wants to come join us, I have my voice recorder on. You can speak into this so I can be able to hear you. We'll also have a camera, so if you are able to manifest yourself, so that way we can see you. We'll also have the REM pod in there. If you get close to it, if you touch the red light, it'll turn green. That way it can let us know that your presence is known. So me and Ryan are going to head to the bathroom, and I will get in the shower.
And I will sit this one out.
Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and this right here. There we go. It's the first time at Virginia Paranormal. Here we go. So Jeff, you were in a bathtub at one point. I'm in the shower.
That's right.
Here we go. So you let me know when they start coming in.
Okay. Let me see if I see it.
Does he need to pretend that he's watching or
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know.
Let's see if I can even see it.
We might have
Do
to
you
turn
need
it.
the lights out.
We might have to turn it on.
I think so, but I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I can turn it on and stand back here and let it kind of hit right there. Like, that's fine.
Will it?
I think. Because it won't hit me.
Nah, as long as it's shower, because if you
Yeah.
turn this on, it's going to start flooding up. Your shoes be nice and soggy.
Hey.
Do you guys want him to turn the water on? You need to touch that.
If you touch that, I will turn on the water.
You got somebody in there with you. It looks like a guy.
Hey. Right on.
It looks like it may. No, there's a girl in there too. Oh, that's two women. One's getting tucked away. And one's getting thrown into the shower. And who is that? Is that Annabelle? That is Annabelle. Oh. I'll tell you guys later what that's about.
So we're going to go ahead and try the sensory deprivation experiment in the shower. This way Will won't hear or see what's being said. And when Ryan says that there's something there, if Will feels it at the same time, we know there's no bias at all.
Okay, let's go ahead and roll these up.
This is our first time.
It's the first time for me, trust me. Never done this before either with a shower full of other people.
Oh, did I tell you that they really like it when I hook up the jumper cables to the battery and put them on my nipples? Ready to what next?
This is Jackass.
We'll do the sensory deprivation for you.
like this is a
I've
fake
never solved the
investigation. We're just putting them up to it.
I'm really an actor. They got me to torture the shit.
That's what this is.
Your pants aren't getting wet, are they?
No, I don't
Okay.
feel like they are.
Good.
Something's in there. I'll wait for him to get his stuff going.
Put that in there.
Yep.
Down on the floor.
That way we know it's not interfering with him at all.
Yeah, we don't want him to get ruined. I try to stand closer.
So Will's in the shower, and he would like to invite any spirits that may be here to get in the shower with him.
I've never invited them into the shower.
Well, Ryan, he told us that you like the shower, so
They do. I love the shower.
Will's in there and hopes that you might be able to join him.
Will is actually getting some company right now.
Will can't see you and he can't hear you. But if you touch him, he should be able to feel it.
I'm trying to push somebody in there. I did.
Also, this little device with the light on it. If you come near that, it may light up and let us know that you're here.
It feels like there's someone in front of me.
They actually got their legs wrapped around him.
Can you reach out and touch Will's left elbow?
Yeah, he's starting to get some activity in there. There's 3 people.
Jack, if you want to come and get in the
The
shower.
way that the water is hitting my feet, it makes it feel like I'm at the beach, like I was saying before.
Jack, if you're here, come and get in the shower with Will.
He does not mind if you get in the shower with him and have fun. Just be yourself in there.
Oh, well, temperature sensor's going up, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Everyone in the shower.
It feels like there's more than one person coming into the room and into the shower.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Because he said everyone
Like
into
more
the
than
shower.
3.
Yeah. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that I can identify in there right now. Something's right on my face because I can't see crap right now. I'm gonna get down a little lower towards that meter. See whatever the hell it is, either leave or maybe set off the meter. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything either.
Can you touch Will?
Play with my new friend Will. Everyone. Everyone back in the shower. Go. Dude, black shadow on me. Oh shit, black shadow right in my face. He's walking right up on me. What?
In the shower, it felt like there was like a black like presence in front of me, but I don't know if that was like just one person or if it was multiple people. I couldn't tell. I couldn't really see anyone in particular. I didn't feel too much, but I did feel like that there could have been multiple people in the shower, or at least in the bathroom. There was like a few times, maybe like maybe I felt like a touch on either my elbow, my feet, and then sometimes like around like here again, like I did last time, like the beard, mouth. No nether regions.
The ladies actually do like the beard.
Yeah, no nether regions this time. So.
Well, he had a few on their knees in front of you.
I didn't
And
feel
right
that.
when he said, all right, everybody in the shower, right after that is when you said, I feel like there's multiple people in the shower. Yeah.
Because that was when the black thing got in front, so I didn't know if it was a figure or.
Well, that was a separate time when you said that, and I said, "There's a black figure between you and I," and you go, "There's a black figure in the."
Really?
Yeah. No,
It
this
was
is not
one of
long
those-
after you got in there, and you were like, I feel like there's multiple people in here.
It's funny, you're over there blindfolded. I'm over here with my eyes shut and hands over my eyes. We look like a pair, but we were seeing the same things.
Yeah.
So when you start to think that, oh, maybe this is a figment of your mind, or you're making, these are imaginary. Well, we can't imagine together. That's what imagination is. It's your own individual thing. And you and I were having hit after hit, just like in there.
And more so this time, I couldn't even hear the vibrations of when you talked because of the shower. Like I couldn't hear anything else. So anything else I could hear outside of that was completely shower.
Yeah, I thought about that because the shower was going to create even more white noise than what you normally would have heard. So, yeah, it would have made it even
with
harder.
it hitting my feet, it I could focus on that. I couldn't really focus on anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of a neat experiment is to try doing something like that, putting your feet in water, or adding a little bit of an extra sensory sort of, just something different.
Yeah, complete submersion.
Yeah.
With a snorkel. We'll get you a snorkel and
I'll
a fish
go
tank.
completely underwater.
Get a big fish tank and bring it up here and
Are we
stick Will in
Are we
there.
ready for the jumper cables?
Welcome to the evidence room. This was definitely an interesting case, I have to say.
Yes.
And when the gentleman Ryan, when he sat down with us and started telling us a lot of the reports, he himself said, this is going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
He said, a lot of people are going to think I'm crazy.
Right.
It was very fascinating.
It was.
Believe it or not, there are actually a lot of reports of ghost dogs.
Yes.
There's a whole book that's been written called Ghost Dogs of the South. There's so many reports of these animals being seen in the afterlife that someone wrote an entire book about it.
That's right.
So is it feasible?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And not only because a dog is a companion. It's a loving,
Exactly.
it's a caring animal. It shows emotion. So it's only natural that these animals could very well leave some spirits behind.
Right.
Now, during the course of this investigation, Will really stepped up to the plate.
He did.
And did some interesting things, and it was pretty cool because Ryan said when he gets in the shower, the spirits are active.
Right.
So what do? We start the shower. We have Will step in there
in it,
to see what happens. He says, lay down on the bed. You can feel these puppies walk around sometimes. So we had Will lay down on the bed and without hesitation, he did these things. And
That's right. Not afraid at all.
was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of case that you walk away from and you wonder, is there going to be any evidence?
Right. Yeah. And I was kind of surprised that we did get some. And that the things that we got were EVPs.
Yes.
As opposed to just Spirit Box this time. I didn't have any recordings from the Spirit Box, but the EVPs proved quite interesting.
Quite interesting. And it's rare. We don't get a whole lot of EVPs.
No.
As I always say, it's nothing like on TV. Every time they push the recorder, they seem to play it back and have some kind of growl or a clear voice coming through. And to get a clear EVP is really not
rare.
common.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very rare. So we got a couple of actual EVPs from this investigation. We're going to take you over to the computer, and Linda's going to play a couple of them for you, and then we're going to discuss them. So with these EVPs, when you play them, what we're going to do is we've had requests. Please don't tell us what the EVP is before you play it.
Right.
And this is a pretty good request, because if we do tell you what it says,
Kind of
we're
leading.
biasing the audience, so they're going to hear it, perhaps.
True.
So what we'll do is we'll play it, and then we'll tell you what we think it says.
Yeah.
So go ahead with the first EVP that we have here.
Okay.
It's funny, right?
So what did you hear?
What I heard was a female voice that came in not long after I started the recording, and it said, "He's scary." And it's right before Will starts talking.
Interesting.
Yes.
Now, this was when Ryan was talking about the shiny one. And I gotta say,
Yes.
when he started talking about the shiny one,
Yeah.
that did kind of give me chills.
I know. It was
Because
a little creepy.
there's not
Yeah.
something definitely paranormal about that.
Right.
This tall,
Yeah.
eerie figure.
Yeah. Yeah. And he had trouble describing, that's why I called it shiny one. He had trouble describing the way that it, the way he saw it. It was like kind of a greenish, shiny glow to it. And, just not the kind of report that you hear every day, certainly.
Right.
So
it's interesting that this possible voice came across
right.
saying he's scary.
Saying he's scary.
Is she talking about the shiny one? Now, he did mention there being female spirits there, too.
Yes.
So another interesting fact is that this does seem to be a female's voice.
Right. And I do have to say that was probably one of the best, if not the best EVP that we got from the whole thing, because it was quite easy for me to determine what was being said.
Right.
From it. I didn't have to enhance it. I didn't have to play it over and over and over again. It was like right from the start, there's a voice, and I play it back and I'm like, that's what it says.
Absolutely. And sometimes when you enhance the audio too much, it kind of messes with the white noise in the background.
Right.
And it can cause a little bit of a hissing, and it can cause people to hear voices where there are none.
That's right.
So it's best if you can hear these EVPs without having to mess with the audio or
Right.
manipulate the audio too much.
Yeah, and the only thing I really do, or at least on that one, the only thing that I did was amplified it.
Right.
Because that's all I had to do. I didn't have to try cutting out background noise or anything. Occasionally, we find some that are more quiet and hard to hear, like this next one, and I have to reduce the noise, the background shh kind of white noise that's there.
Right.
But that's all we ever do with any of the audio.
Well, let's take a listen to that next one.
Okay, like I said, it's kind of hard to hear, and it comes in immediately after Rynan stops speaking.
I mean, directly, right? Like looking at me.
So you can hear this voice that comes in immediately after he stops speaking, and the first, say, syllable or the first word that is spoken is the one that you hear the most. And it sounds to me like it says something like, "What is this?" or "What is that?"
Now, what was going on at the time that this might have been a response to? Perhaps some of the equipment?
Right. That's kind of what my take on it was that maybe it was the equipment that we were setting out and starting to turn on and starting to mess with, that it was like, what is that?
It's interesting.
So the next one that we have is another interesting one, a little bit unsettling when you get an EVP like this. Again, it's the same female voice. It sounds like the same one through all three of these. So we'll play that one. You can hear somebody speak. I believe it's Rynan, and then there's a little bit of a pause before the voice comes in.
Somebody's on the bed.
Now it's kind of quiet. It's not extremely distinguishable like the first one was, but it was distinguishable enough with the headphones on for me to determine that it said, "Please help me."
And that wasn't that sound at the end, right? The sound at the very end was someone starting to talk again?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
it
to
was-
clarify.
Right. Someone's starting to talk again. Yeah.
Right.
But it came in right before that.
And this is at a point, too, where Rynan was talking about these female spirits that would apparently get on the bed.
Right.
And the male spirits would rip them off of the bed.
Yes.
Now, picture this. I mean, if this was actually, you know what I'm saying? If you could actually see these spirits on camera and all this activity going on, that'd be something.
It really would. It really would. It'd be
So
strange.
we're there. We're not seeing this.
No.
We're taking his word that this stuff happens.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, a female's voice sounds like it says, "Please help me."
Right. Yeah. And that's whenever you get something like that, we've heard it before where somebody says, "Please help me." It makes you feel bad. Because you really want to help them, but you're not sure exactly what to do.
Right.
And of course, here we are, in the evidence room listening to it. We didn't hear it at the time. We weren't there when we heard it. So,
Right.
It makes it a little bit difficult. But yeah, it's hard to tell whether she was pleading for someone to help her because she's being pulled off of the bed, or whether it was more of a, please help me, like I'm stuck. in this state, you know,
Right.
and don't know what to do.
Right. Absolutely. And even listening to these at the location, there's so many that you miss. You can
Right.
walk away from the location thinking, I didn't get any EVPs. But once you put the headphones on and really go through it,
That's right.
you pick up stuff that I would probably not hear some of these myself
Yeah.
until you point them out to me.
Right.
So,
Now, the next one that we have is a little bit different. It's not the female voice this time, I don't believe. There's actually two things going on in this one. When I first started, there's a voice that comes in very quietly and says something, perhaps like a 3-word sentence. Then you hear one of the investigators or Ryan speak, and immediately after he's done speaking, you hear a sound come through there. And so we'll listen to that one.
down towards his feet. Oh, we got the K2 meter going off.
I was getting ready to say, what is that? So you could hear this voice come in, like I say at the very beginning. Then there's a little bit of a pause, a little silence, and then Ryan speaks, and immediately afterward, there's something that comes through that sounds like a dog barking.
It does.
Yeah. Now,
It
Ryan
sounds
has
like
no
a little
dogs.
dog
Yes.
barking, maybe
It
out in
does.
the yard, kind of not right there with us, but in the
Right.
distance.
Right.
There's no houses around this guy's house.
No, there's no houses around. He lives on the side of a mountain, so he's somewhat, secluded. He's got nothing but trees and forest in front of his house. So, as far as sound is concerned, it's not going to travel that well over that mountain. It's not going to travel through those trees so well from one of the, neighbors across the
Right,
street.
not to pick it up like that.
No, not to pick it up like that. But the fact that I heard a dog barking when he has no dogs except for the ghost puppies is quite interesting.
Very interesting, and
Yeah.
it sounded like a little dog.
It did.
So,
It did.
what a cool case, a unique case.
Yes.
It's not every day that you get to investigate sightings of spirit animals.
Yes.
Ghost puppies being the primary.
Right. And all of these other spirits that seem to be attaching to him and following him home because of the ghost puppies.
Right.
You don't think of that sort of thing happening, but, it...
Yeah. And
Good.
I'm sure, like he even said himself, a lot of people were probably watching the beginning of this and thinking, there's no way.
Right.
There's no way this could happen. But if you step outside the realm of the normal for a moment
Yeah.
and think,
Yeah.
okay, and think, if this guy did have a dog that passed away, the dog came back,
Right.
if there are other spirit dogs around, they may be drawn to that
Drawn to
dog,
it.
may be drawn to someone who can see these dogs.
That's true.
And who doesn't love a puppy? So
Yeah.
perhaps these spirits are gathering around.
And,
You know?
and here you have a female voice that comes through repeatedly, and you have this sound of a dog barking. And that in and of itself says that there's something more to his story than just this guy being crazy.
Absolutely.
There's actually something to this.
Absolutely. I'm with him. I believe he's got something going on there.
He
There were
does.
some interesting things that happened.
Right.
We even got a little bit of activity on the REM pod at one point.
Yeah.
I believe. I'm not sure if the camera was running at that time or not.
Right.
But definitely, like I said, a unique case.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's awesome to come back and be able to actually turn up some evidence from a case like that.
Yeah,
So,
and this may be one of those that we return to in the future. So it'll be interesting if we get a chance to go back and having the knowledge that we have now with the things that we've heard, to be able to go back and play upon that when we investigate.
absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for this episode of Virginia Paranormal Case Files. Until next time, I'm Jeff,
And I'm Linda.
and there's much more to see in the dark.